moment, but it should be all good. We're live. Hello, everyone. Hi, everybody, and welcome to HoGaLe's Global Astrology. Of course, know your planets, know yourself, and you'll be very glad to see someone. Oh, actually, it's the opposite way. Someone's over here. What a trooper. So we know, of course, we have Dr. Lena Rodriguez with us here, down under.
Bonjour.
Yeah, quite literally, 10 a.m. for her Sunday morning.
9. We've had daylight saving overnight. I nearly didn't make it. It's 9 a.m. Sunday. Lucky I love you guys.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for checking, because you know what? I thought you'd gone back already, but of course not. You've now gone into your autumn. Oh, well, thank you for being here. Gosh, 9 a.m. on a Sunday. But, you know, I like to think we're worth it, Lena. I hope we're worth it.
But the big news goes to Lady G.
Of course. So, Lady G, how are you feeling? We're not going to get you talking too much. No, talk as much as you want. Lena and I talk enough as it is. How are you feeling?
Well, still with my hands. So they're working, they're feeling great. But anyway, I didn't get the indictment on my birthday, but hey, I'm willing to give up my thyroid for it. So there we go. Yeah.
There's a true American.
Oh, trooper. Absolutely.
Oh, the sacrifices we make.
That's right.
Oh, and we really appreciate you being here. Wow. Lady G. Honestly, not many people would be ready to come on a YouTube show to talk just after they've had a thyroid operation. So you are just, wow, just more powerful.
I can't miss it. I've got a commitment.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Right, so today's show, folks, is going to be breathtakingly simple. Normally, we'll be carting you around the world, taking you this place and that place, but really, at the moment, there's only one circus show in town, and we all know what it is. Yeah. So, Trumpocalypse has arrived. Yeah, that word. Trumpocalypse. Now we'll have to see, because, like I said, with this guy can sell lives to cats. We're not done yet. Yeah, this is just the beginning of a much longer journey. Think about the end of Lord of the Rings. Yeah, there was all of that kind of stuff, and you realize, wow, there's 3 more movies to go. Yeah,
that's right.
We're not done yet.
But yes, these are only the previews, the coming attractions. So
the trailers. Yeah.
Yes.
Indeed. Only the previews and the trailers. So it has begun, but just like I was saying, not only me, but the other Vedic astrologers as well. But I was very specific. I said, when Saturn moves into sidereal Aquarius, which he did on January 17th, 2023, I said it's going to be about what? Accountability of all kinds, social media and all of that kind of stuff. Before we go in, though, I've just remembered something. Can we send some thoughts and prayers to Diane's brother?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know, only just found this out. So she announced on her channel, because he had a botched knee operation. Yeah, I watched one of her videos. He had a botched knee operation, and basically they got it wrong. So wrong, they had to go in and reoperate again. I don't know how the surgery went, but she said the surgery didn't go very well, and it seems like he developed an infection. However, this infection she's saying it's looking like it could potentially be life-threatening. So sorry to hear about that. So Diane, if you're well, you probably won't be watching, but for anyone who's watching, really thoughts and prayers and healing to Diane's brother, and let's hope he makes it through this very challenging time. But gosh, infections can be very, very difficult. So I just wanted to mention that. So I know that is a bit of more of a somber note, but I wanted to make sure I said it, before I, forgot, because, when we're in the show and stuff like that. So thoughts and prayers there. So Diane, I really hope he recovers very quickly. Okay, so going back on, ladies, before we even pull cards and ask questions and stuff like that, what are your thoughts on this, and where do you see this going? So Lena, I'll start with you. Where do you see this going once you heard the news with Duck L'Orange and all of his cray-cray?
Yeah, I think we still have to be patient because they still have to set a trial date and the lawyers will string it out as long as they can. What were you going to say, Hogarth?
Someone said 4th of April. When I was on Linda G, they said someone said 4th of April.
No, that's just the preliminary hearing about it all, not the trial. So, but the upside is, as these different arraignments will now come on board, we'll have more juicy things to be going on with during that process.
Oh.
So just be aware of that. This is the beginning of the legal haul.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how it unfolds. But I think in April we're going to see more.
Right. Yeah. Lady G, your thoughts. Of course, don't strain yourself, but I'm sure you can get yourself across.
Yeah. Well, I think that the beginning one, the big thing for him is to be able to keep his mouth shut, because I'm sure that the judge is going to say, you have to put the kibosh on lies central. So we'll have to see what, if he doesn't keep his mouth shut, maybe they'll actually put him in jail.
Ooh, that's very interesting, because we know if there's one thing when it comes to Duck L'Orange, he really, really struggles to keep the trap shut, even if it's
that's the greatest challenge known to humanity is.
Well, were you going to say something? I was just going to give my thoughts, but what were you going to say something?
Yeah, like most of us, we haven't seen him in jail, but some sort of gag order would be a welcome relief for the world. Yeah. So one of my thoughts since hearing the news, now I'm having a tangent, Lena. Yeah, I'm taking on one of your tangents this evening. Yes, by all means, have a tangent.
It's a musical tangent in the sense of, who's here heard of Bryan Ferry? Is anyone here?
Oh no, I was there. I was there in the front row.
Right, Bryan Ferry. I do have a soft spot for Bryan Ferry. I think
tight leather
just
pants.
Hear his music. His music is just really cool. So
guess what?
Yeah. Now, was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now that means, Lena, you will know his song, which is called "Slave to Love."
Yes.
Yeah? Have you heard his song? It's called "Slave to Love." So if you're not heard of it, now why? Now this song has been going around in my head because the eclipses and where Saturn is and stuff like that. And here's Duck L'Orange's chart, and you see Saturn has moved into his 7th house. Yeah, because for all Leos, Aquarius is the 7th house and it's ruled by Saturn. Saturn's the planet of what? Karma, accountability. Yeah. 7th house is anyone that's not us, but guess what? It deals with relationships, sexual things, and open enemies. Yeah. Now, isn't it interesting? Saturn moved there on the 17th of January, 2023, really aspecting in there in Duck L'Orange's house. And in his 12th house, which is house of secrets and bed pleasures, he's got Venus in there, which deals with women. Yeah. So guess what? In my mind, I've been hearing Bryan Ferry's song. And it goes, "Slave to love, and na 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 na." And in my mind, it's in Duck L'Orange. Oh, na, 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 na. Oh, na, na, na. Duck L'Orange. I will put a link to that song in this video.
You have to. Slave to Love. Melody was in the front row too. Hi, Melody. Roxy Music, they were great.
Bryan Ferry, if people aren't familiar with him, most are. I think I've seen him in concert as well in Boston, actually, back in 2019. Something like that. He was excellent. He was really good. So, okay. My thing with Duck L'Orange is, look, it's good. We can do a little side sip of champagne because at least, or Prosecco, because at least something is happening. But what I want to say to you guys is look, this is a much bigger journey. Let's not forget how adept this guy is. He's the slippery eel, the duck-billed platypus of politics. And, Dr. Lena will know what a duck-billed platypus is.
Yes, I might be one of the few here who does.
And it is a strange, weird animal that looks like a mole, swims in water, has the beak of a duck, hands that look like a lizard, and it lays eggs, hatches its young, and then gives it milk. It was one of the most controversial animals in all of the Victorian science.
And here's another snippet. It has spurs on its back legs, bone spurs. Look at that.
Oh, does it? Honestly. So for me, it's like, this is a big deal, but I don't want everyone to think, right, that's it, slam dunk, he's going down, because this case is extremely high stakes. Because if for any reason Alvin Bragg is not able to put the stake through the heart, as I was saying on Linda G, it needs to be a little kind of like and then nailed down to the floor and holy incense and oil and put over, because if he survives this, it could have the opposite effect. It could boost him. And I'm sure we've been saying this on the other channels as well, haven't we? So so he really needs to nail it, and I hope they get him first time. Any other thoughts on that, ladies, before we...
No, let's do it.
All right. So let's do the first one, which is the more obvious kind of question, which is, how is he feeling about everything? Ooh. Let's just see. Oh, and there's 1,000 of you with us already. Thank you guys so much.
Hi, everybody. And I bought the Toth cards specially. Here we go.
Wendy Schneider says, oops, sorry, just before we pull, where did it go? Here we oops, sorry, oops. Oh dear, my computer's sluggish today. Sorry, guys, if there's a... There we are. Put that up. She said,
Brian Ferry dodged a bullet with Jerry Hall. She went off with Mick Jagger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back in the day. I was thrilled at the time, I have to say.
Well, she even shacked up, didn't she, with a certain Rupert Murdoch for a while, didn't she?
Look, there's no accounting for taste and greed, is there, really? I mean, all she did was walk around the stage with a furry animal tail. I mean, it was embarrassing, you know.
Bless. Well, she's got a knack for picking prominent men. Let's put it that way. If she marries you, it may not be necessarily the best news, but there you go. Big hair, though. Big hair.
Big hair. How's he feeling? Oh, my goodness.
Trump feeling. How's he feeling?
Oh. All I can say is you would not want to be inside his smelly little fetid cranium. You really wouldn't. Yeah. I'll just take off here, will I, Hogarth?
Go for it. Go for it.
These cards, I haven't used them for a while, and they literally have a weird vibe about them, the Toth cards. Okay, how's he feeling? There's the Devil card for you. It's a very illustrative deck. Followed by the Five of Swords, the card in Toth that's known as defeat.
Oof.
Followed by the Princess or Knight of Swords here. This is him fighting back because he's a Gemini. So there's the part of him that feels, you know, defeated and no. And the other side is, I'll get them, you know, it'll be all right. So he has both those things going on. And swiftness. I think he's starting to feel, because I don't think any of this was very real to him until this point. So now, because one has actually happened, it's dawning on him, oh, there's the other one and the other one and the other one and that one. So I think he's starting to feel hemmed in, but not enough. Mm-hmm. But it's not a pretty place inside his head.
Wow. Lady G, what do you have?
Well, above it all, we have, you know, the deeper things are coming out, and it's kind of a very crushing blow for him. The overarching thing is his illusions and drama. So going into it, he sees this as a bouquet, a way to hold some power and to charge forward for what? For his cadre, his people. He's working on more illusions and drama he can put out. The challenge at the center of it is the community, to keep them in the dark, and they use them again for another money-making opportunity, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is what's being eaten away is any new ability to move forward. So he's, trying to scheme, but it's all backfiring now. And because we have here the clarification, what's being offered up is Justice Department. And democracy. So it's not looking good for him.
Oh, wow. Okay. Duck L'Orange. Oh, na, 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 na. Sorry, this is still in my head. Duck L'Orange. If we look here, look at the card that he gets, to describe the situation, how he's feeling. Yeah, it's feeling like death.
Yeah.
Literally, he is feeling like Duck L'Orange is like, OMG. Like you said, I think it is only just really dawned on him what could be happening. Because the thing is, Duck L'Orange is the funny one, We know he can't hold a Bible the right way up, when he did his old thing. But there is a certain thing that he does have faith in. And part of his faith is the closest that he comes to it, is this positive thinking thing. He's really into that adamantly. And I think this is the first time Duck L'Orange is doubting it. Because now he's like, well, if they can do this, which I thought was the impossible thing, then that means all of the other stuff, because he knows that the Stormy Daniels is the they consider it more of the lighter ones, even though in actual fact it was the one that opened the doorway to him, really, or shall we say didn't close the door to his presidency because he paid her off. So this says to me, we know that it doesn't always necessarily mean literal death. But I think this is the death of a certain identity that Duck L'Orange has about himself, because we all know once you've been carted in and they take shot, do you remember said, I won't believe it until I see the orange jumpsuit with the numbers next to him and all of that stuff, and then I'm going to print it off and turn it into a mug. But anyway, so this shows really this is a real cross point for Duck L'Orange. And also as well, we'll never forget with this card, the king is trampled underneath. We're also in the eclipses. 20th of April, everyone, is when they officially happen, but we're in that window, started on the 20th of March. So here we are. Look at the obstacle position and you think, oh, look, temperance. But you never want temperance in the obstacle position. It's the opposite of balance. It's like the car won't start. The chemistry is not there. He's trying everything. He's trying to use his magic potions, and it's not quite working. Here he is, 3 of Pentacles. Of course, there had to be a pentacle in there. So he's like, all right, what kind of grift can I get out of this? But more importantly, who can I work with? Who can get me out of this pickle? But look, he's deluded. Didn't this card come up last time? So this is really him kind of, he's scrabbling around for every single option that he can. And obviously they're not going to be realistic ones. He wants to see who he's going to partner with. I'm amazed there are still lawyers left in the world. Man. So what kind of partnership? I did need to do some clarifiers. 8 of Swords, which is putting himself in a pickle, feeling like the victim, which he always does. 9 of Wands, embattled, trying to get out of it. But look who's there at the final thing. Look at the grim face on this guy, the Hierophant. Oh dear, government. So not looking good for Duck L'Orange.
I love this comment from Flora. She said, can you believe Trump finally paid someone and look what happened? This is Stormy Daniels.
That's a brilliant one. And he's probably, you know what? he is probably kicking himself, because the thing is this: if he'd used his own money, $300,000 is not even for Duck Larange is not that much. If he'd used his own money, it wouldn't have been a thing.
Yeah,
it's because Anyway, okay, so
I think he's feeling as bruised as my hand looks today.
Yeah.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, because that's a stick the cavities in, isn't it, and all that.
Yeah, they blew the vein on this one, so I think he's about to that point.
Oh, bless. Oh God, look, I just shuffled. Look what's at the base of the deck. He really is feeling. He's up the creek. So let's see. Let's pull on what the potential outcome of this case would be. I think that's the next important question, isn't it? We know it's going to begin, but let's look at the potential outcome to see if it really will stick or there could be other things.
One more comment. This is from Zach. Trump will be tried as an adult.
We've got some great jokes tonight, guys. You guys are on form. It would be tried.
Yeah, people are asking for the bard again.
Oh, shall we? Okay, yes. All right. We'll do a bit of the bard. I think Duck Larange got the bard last week, but we'll ask again. We'll see.
Yeah, there's never too many bards.
There's never.
Sorry, what was this question while we're doing it?
So this is the one. This is now.
How's it going to pan out?
Yeah, how's it going to pan out? Will Alvin be able to do his proverbial stake, or will the eel wriggle off the hook again? Let's have a look. And one thing I want to add is this, and this isn't a compliment to Trump or anything like that, but it's more of a warning. The reason why Trump got in, the biggest reason why Trump got in, is because people underestimated him. I said back in 2016, I wasn't on YouTube at the time, but I said to my co-workers, I said, they will vote in Trump and we will have Brexit. People looked at me as if I was speaking Greek. Yeah. I got totally dismissed and no one paid any attention to what I said. And I was like, fine. I said, this will happen. And it did. So don't underestimate Duck Larange.
Well, I'm ready.
Go for it, Lady G.
Okay, well, underneath of it all, what we have is light with the government, and they're going to have the victory. So, yeah, going into it, we've got 2 major arcana and 3 aces. So we have an ending that coming to the end of a cycle for him because of the new mentality and the strength coming out of the case. It's about his path that he's walked, the things he's done. And the challenge is the money and things and his cup of abominations going forward. So good luck with that.
Yeah, really.
Lena, what do you have?
Starting with the false knight here of the Page of Cups, which I think could be his legal team trying to diminish Michael Cohen. How can you believe this man? He perjured himself, etc., etc. You can't believe his testimony. And so much of this hinges on Michael Cohen's testimony. So, okay. But there's a legal case mounted against that cuts it down. At that point, Duck Larange enters a new stage of distress. Mm-hmm. But then a sort of deal is struck. Here's that temperance card, and I agree with what you were just saying, Hoagie. It's not temperance in its usual beneficence. This is them trying to strike a deal. Mm-hmm. I think with this Knight of Pentacles, we talk about it as the hush money case, the Stormy Daniels case. It's one of something like 30 charges, which are much more complicated. This is the fraud, possibly the RICO. This is the tending to do the X, Y, and Z. So they're trying to mitigate those charges and pull them down, his team, which will result not in jail, but getting away with it. But he'll be damaged by this. So even if his followers think it's great, and even if this circus of a GOP who are going to publicly decry the case, all of that, for the middle of the road voters, which they need and he needs, it will not fly. The baggage will be too much. And here is judgment as an outcome, not only in this case, but I think it's suggesting going forward, it's also about the people rising up. And I don't think it's his people. I think it's normal, sane Americans going, and that by the time this has taken a year to play out along with all the others going, no more. I think this is the vote in 2024.
Oh, I hope so, Lena. I hope so, Lena. We've got some update as well, which I actually forgot, and this is coming from Beverly J. Grievous, and she's just said here, I'll just click this one up. The platypus is poisonous. The poison is in the spur.
I know, I told you.
Yeah. So for me,
that's how the males fight.
Oh, really?
Backwards. Do you need any more imagery?
Right. So you see, it's like, for me, duck l'orange is the duck-billed platypus of politics. I think it just sums it all up. This is really interesting for me. Out of the 5 cards that I shuffled, which you saw me do, 3 of them have come back.
Isn't
that interesting? 3 of them have come back. I pulled a clarifier from this deck where all the cards are upright, and the card that I pull is reversed. Yeah. So this is very interesting. So looky here. So in terms of, what did we say? What was it? The case, isn't it? The case, how it would go, etc. All of this kind of stuff. It's going to be interesting. If we look here, look, the card of illusion and delusion is back. I think, of course, this is duck l'orange. Yeah. This is duck l'orange, but we know that this card isn't just about illusions and delusions. It can be about a lot of choices, or this could almost be an avalanche, feeling overwhelmed.
Yes.
It could be almost become overwhelming because, look, there's so many cases, so many this, so many that. They're probably going to have to combine things, guys, into little garlands, little bunches, and try and get him on bunches of things rather than each individual one, because he'll be dead, we'll be dead. Everyone will be dead if we went sequentially, because it would just take too long, So there's that. But what this says to me, I take this also with a bit of caution, which is we ourselves mustn't become a bit delusional about this case and thinking it's going to be the be-all and end-all. Don't underestimate this slippery platypus.
Yes.
If we look here, look at that. The 3 of Pentacles is back, and it's come in the obstacle position. So this is about teamwork. This is about teamwork, usually collaborating with others, commissioning things. But this can mean sometimes being rejected by the community and stuff like that. So if we look at this from the perspective of duck l'orange, could this be where the rusted on, as Lena would say, will always stay there? Because they've got nowhere else to go. But I think this is about donors, don't you reckon? Donors.
Yes, good thinking.
Money, collaboration. I think the donors could start doing that. And they're waiting to see what happens. They want to see how much of a stink comes up. However, here's duck l'orange, who's obviously going to try and make a grift out of it. But I think this is also Alvin Bragg as well. He has to be the magician. Because I think, you remember I had a hunch last week where I said, I think he put out some of that false stuff to flush the partridges. I think he also did that thing as well with like, oh, guess what? The grand jury is going to be away for a month. And then, So I think this represents both men. This is Alvin Bragg wanting to get the best outcome, but this is duck l'orange trying to grift. Look who's back again, the Temperance.
It's weird, isn't it?
You saw me shuffle, guys. So there is a balancing act. When I look at this from the perspective of Alvin Bragg, and I think this is also speaking with the public as well, we can't be too gloating over this, yeah? He's like Count Dracula. Until the stake is through the heart and the coffin is nailed down and then thrown into the fire, we really can't be sure. So this is about trying to keep a balance here.
And also, it is an ex-president trying to keep some decorum, you know, that's
exactly. Because if there's too much hoo-ha and if there's too much shaming, then what it will do is not only will it be an embarrassment for America, but it will give the platypus more fuel. Yeah, we don't want to do that. And here we see the outcome card, of course, fighting from the top. So, of course, this is Duck L'Orange. He's going to throw everything at this guy. You know what he's like. We all know what he's like. There's never seems to be an exhaustible stream of crazy lawyers to help defend him. This could also be him inciting violence or getting his allies to what? Fight for him. Yeah, there'll be that as well. This will also be Alvin Bragg trying to defend his case and make sure it all works out. But then when I got the outcome card, I got the King of Cups in reverse. And so what this is speaking about really, I think with Duck L'Orange, this is going to be increasingly difficult for him mentally and emotionally to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Once it starts to come, that domino effect, even he will be kind of diminished. And could this be cold water on the fire? We'll have to see. Yeah. Ladies, what else do you think?
In the comments, Susan Thompson, I've been called in for jury duty in Manhattan next week in the same courthouse building. They may suspend jury selections until after his arraignment. Hope it's not for his case. Well, Susan, selfishly, I'd love you to be on his case, but that's just...
I hope it is. Not that you can tell us. Maybe you can write in mirror language, in Morse code.
Send us psychic messages.
Or maybe she could pull tarot cards, not say anything, but just go like this.
That's right, and go, look at it.
What happened in court? Like the tower, you know. Wow, wouldn't that be interesting? Okay. What else do you think we should ask about Duck L'Orange before we we'll ask a question and then we'll see what the bard thinks. But what's on your minds, ladies? What would you like to ask about him? Or in the comments even.
I'm interested because already Marjorie Taylor Green and the maddest of the mad are calling for protests in Manhattan. And my vibe is Waco didn't go off very well. It was not a huge, terrifying sight. You know, it really wasn't. And we know Manhattan didn't tolerate the protests last week. So can we look at protests?
Okay. All right. So we'll look at that. So how about let's ask the bard again what he thinks of Duck L'Orange in this situation. And I think we've got to pull some cards of Marjorie Taylor Green as well. Yeah.
We'll do that next. Let's just go.
We'll do that next. All right. So whose turn is it to call this time?
I think it's mine.
Yeah. All right, Lena. So I'm going to close my eyes as usual.
Okay. So this is just Duck L'Orange.
This is just Duck L'Orange, the bard's addition to his verbiage last week. So I'm closing my eyes. You just tell me where to stop.
Ready, stop.
Oh. All right, folks. Now, what you got to understand is this is the bard, not me. Oh dear. This is what the bard has to say about Duck L'Orange since the indictment. Here we go. Bastard begot, bastard instructed, bastard in mind, in everything illegitimate. And that's from Troilus and Cressida. Oh, man. The bard did not hold back. Oh, sorry. Saliva spat. I don't think I'm going to read that again, actually. That
really please. I need it again.
Really? Oh my God. Okay, one more time. Lena needs a bit more.
Oh.
Bastard begot. Bastard instructed. Bastard in mind. In everything illegitimate. Oh, wow. I almost feel a bit. That's a scathing. Well,
somebody's asking a good question. Has Weiselberg flipped? That will be a good one. Maybe a good card. Maybe
let's go. Let's do that.
Okay, this is huge. And I've been rabbiting on about it to anyone who'll pick up the phone in the last couple of days. Right, I'll just be. He's dumped his legal team.
Oh, yes.
Remember, I was saying this, Huggy. Now, the pattern. Michael Cohen, when he was very first arrested, Trump org appointed lawyers, and then he got rid of them, new team, and flipped. Yeah. Cassidy Hutchinson, White House appointed lawyers, ditched them, new team, and flipped. This is big.
Wow. Do you know what? I think let's do a full pull on this, because this is really important. Let's do a full pull. I think that is
because he's
legitimate.
5 months in Rikers prison.
Yeah.
Will hone his focus.
Jumpy cards. Okay, will Weiselberg flip? Good question. Weiselberg. Oh my God, the bard was
there's nothing left of the man after the bard.
That was really just sulfuric acid there. Wow.
And how many bard sayings have we had? And that's another league again.
That was just another league. Just totally wow.
Oh my word.
Oh, the cards today, my goodness. So
yes. They're right.
Will he flip? Ooh.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if he flips, it's over for Duck Larange. It really is, because he's the chest keeper of the Chamber of Secrets, really.
Everything. He knows everything.
Everything. Everywhere. Everybody is buried.
What's that noise like snoring?
It's Max.
Oh, it is snoring. I thought it was one of our dogs. And I thought, they're not in the room. Phantom. He's a very loud snorer.
It's so little. You know, I think he's got congestive heart failure.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to take him. I'm going to try to get him into the vet the first thing Monday or Tuesday.
Well,
yeah.
That's never cheap, is it?
No.
Okay, who's ready to go first? I've got some quite dramatic cards.
Okay, I can go. Well, we have the Trump organization and the whole family dynamic. And of course, now we have going into it, he's been chained in this thing. So now that he's sitting in Rikers, he's really looking at moving forward and putting some effort out there. Because the challenge is, he's sitting in Rikers and this stuff. And so the clarification is everything is upside down. He doesn't like Rikers. And so underneath of it all, he sees the abuse of power that's happened, that Trump's tried to get away with it, and he's done. He says, I am done with it. So, lots of major arcana.
Goodness. Lena, well, mine too. I've pulled 6 cards and 3 are major arcana. So we've stumbled on a big one here.
Yeah.
The world. The end of a cycle. He has, he was the old school guy, took one for the team, went to jail. And what do you reckon? I bet Trump hasn't even phoned him on Visitors' Day or something. He wouldn't have given him a thought. And I think that's what's actually, while he's hermiting in Rikers, the women in his life, I think there's a lot of contention, excuse me, with his daughter-in-law, Jennifer is her name, I think. She knows the dirt too. I think he's realized through the legal eagles that there is more that she can drop if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Meaning it'll be worse for him. So he then gets the star, which is time to come clean. And once he does, and I suspect this is now 8 of Wands very quickly, boom, boom, boom. But I think it's women. There are a couple of women in here who put pressure on him. I think one out of love and one out of resentment. So the Queen is probably his wife who loves him, and this is the other one's the daughter-in-law. So it's this tension between these women that have led to this decision, I think.
Wow. And we've got 1,600 with us now. This is amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
And I'm sure you're all looking up pictures of the duck-billed platypus. So
yes. The duck-billed platypus. For me, that's really what, if I had to distill politically what a political animal he is. I know I've talked about the Komodo dragon, but really I think the duck-billed platypus really describes Duck L'Orange, because it's the oddest creature one, and it's a composite of so many different weird things.
Yeah, it's one of those mysteries of nature.
Yeah, that would never fit together.
And where I was born has the biggest population of platypus in Australia.
Really?
Really?
Wow. Very curious animals. Okay, the cards that I've got, again, like the ladies, for me, out of 5 cards, 3 are major arcana. Yeah. And the other 2 are dicey. Yeah. Dicey. So we're talking about Willie Flip. Yeah. Look at the card that I get. Justice. Yeah. He's under the thumb of Justice. Yeah. There he is in his 70s in Rikers Island. You know, they're probably trying to give him nice-ish food, whatever they can find. But think about it. He's been used to eating off golden plates whenever he was around with Duck L'Orange and, you know, fragua and champagne and stuff like that. Now he's getting microwave mashed potato and some kind of mystery meat that has been drawn from the sewers and covered in breadcrumbs. Yeah. So, it's really not quite the standard of living, shall we say. So he's literally had to face Justice. Now he's had a taste of the prison bars. Prison is no longer a concept for him.
Yeah.
I think this is a big difference. And I think, in a way, this is what their plan was all along. They were like, okay, sweetheart, we'll give you a little taste. Yeah, you play the strong boy. We'll give you a taste.
Come back to you in a few months.
Exactly.
I'm sure he thought he was going to, like, you know, club fed, you know, but Rikers is
it's not. Like, even in Australia, we know about Rikers, you know.
Indeed. So there he is. So now when they say to him, hey, dude, we found out this extra stuff. And, you know, we want to be your friend and we understand you're kind of getting a bit older, but this kind of stuff we've seen could keep you in for maybe another 10 years. You know, that's how they're going to talk. And it's going to be like, because when you've been untouchable for so long, everyone believes the lie. That's what Michael Cohen said. He said, when you're around Duck L'Orange, you feel invincible. And it's because he's got the Ophiuchus, you know, the serpent priest, the cult leader. Yeah. Now he's had a cold taste of justice. Now he's pondering his past decisions. Yeah. We've got the Fool here in the obstacle position. We all mean literally being foolish. But really, I wouldn't say foolish. I would say here naive.
Yes.
Just because someone's chronological age is quite high doesn't mean they're that much wiser. I think he's naive. We need to remember this was Weiselberg's first job. Yeah. Let's not forget. I think, in fact, no, that's not true. Didn't he used to work at some kind of, wasn't it some kind of dry cleaning place or something like that? I can't remember.
Trump's father, Fred, plucked him from obscurity as a minor accountant and made this life for him. In return, Weiselberg has devoted his entire life to this family, and now they wouldn't have said hello.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, because the Fool card does have a lot to do with innocence and naivety. So in many ways, we need to understand this is Weiselberg's first proper job. Yeah. And he's just been stuck in there for ages and ages. So he doesn't know anything else. I'm not saying it's
that's right.
to let him off, but it's all he's ever known is Duck L'Orange and the organization. So look, oh dear, look, we've got the baby here on the back in the sunshine. Yeah. I don't know how sunny it is in Rikers prison, but I'm guessing there's only a courtyard where the sun shines and then you're kind of locked up for how many hours a day. But look, I think this is him waking up from naivety. Yeah. Because he's had a taste of prison. Yeah. He's been naive and now he's in the light. I think
nature arcana too.
Exactly. I think he's starting to see light. He's less naive because he's been locked up. Maybe he's feeling a little bit betrayed. Yeah, you would think. Yeah, all that.
See, I don't think Michael Cohen would have even flipped if he'd got real support.
Yeah,
from the lawyers and stuff. This is where Duck L'Orange fouls his own nest.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. If he would just give a little bit of TLC now and again,
these people would go to the wall for him.
Yeah, he'd be virtually indestructible. So now I think a little taste of prison has been making him feel a little bit betrayed and a bit like a victim. Yeah, that was the 10 of Swords, and this is the 8 of Swords. So this is a man or a person who's trying to navigate a very difficult situation, which they most of the time have put themselves in, which he has, by keeping stum. But it also can show a person is looking for a way out. They're trying to navigate. He does have his blindfolds on, but it's not that the bonds are quite loose. So when he comes out of jail, his bonds are going to be loosened and he's going to have a choice about whether he goes back or will he spill the dirt. So I think he may flip. I'm just going to split the deck and see what it says here. Look at that. The Hierophant comes back.
Yeah.
So I think he's at least talking with official government people, I would say, as a minimum.
Yes. And I think this happens to us as readers a lot. I remember making a video maybe 3 years ago that Weiselberg would flip. And then, of course, he didn't seem to flip. And I thought, oh, well, got that wrong. It just goes to show it's always about waiting out the time frame.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially with
that's the one thing that drives me crazy. People are always asking for timing, and you cannot time it.
Yeah. Well, that's what this is for. Yeah, that's what the old astrology.
Yes, that's true. That's why it helps a lot to have that.
And by the way, I think what I was saying, as you know, many people were anticipating Trump will go down. And do you remember how I've been consistently saying I said it would from 2023? It would really start the accountability. And then when Saturn changed signs, it started. But particularly in Duck L'Orange's chart on the 22nd of October, K2, snip, snip, starts driving the car of his life. And let me tell you, that's going to be a big deal. And that's when a lot of stuff is planned for New York as well. So that's when we really might see some real stuff flying off. But let's see what happens. All right. Shall we have a look at Leaky Douchebag Blowhard? Sorry, Marjorie Taylor Green. Sorry.
Oh, God.
And we've got to see what the Bard thinks of her. She's not had the Bard treatment.
Yes, please. Okay, so we're just going general for Marjorie Taylor Green. General. I mean, I don't know if she's just the worst person in the world or she's got serious mental health issues. It's really hard to pick. I don't know if people caught up with in the last 2 days, she's been saying she's invented this organization, Transtifa. So trans people and Antifa actually did January 6th. It wasn't Trump supporters, it was Transtifa.
Well, of course, we know we all saw them marching in the Capitol with big high heels and wigs, yes.
I just had a vision of a drag queen smashing the glass with his favorite, Vivienne Westwood high heels, as if. It just.
I mean, things just fall out of her face. You know, there is no cognitive engagement. Anyway, MTG, who is an elected lawmaker of the United States of America. Which state is she? Is she?
I can't remember.
Georgia or something like that. She's from one of those backward states.
Can our people let us know, please? Is she from Georgia?
And
MTG.
Do you remember when I pulled cards on her? I think it was back in November or whatever. And do you remember I said I think she's going to rise in prominence, and all of us were like, really? And I said I think she is. Now look what's happened. God. But it just beggars belief. I still pinch myself.
Georgia. They said she is from Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. Marjorie Taylor Green. Leaky douchebag blowhard. What's going on with her? I think it's part just sheer hubris and another part of genuinely not well. I genuinely believe there's something with her.
I think there's both those things going on. I think,
she's not well. She's really not well. I remember when she was chasing that guy, harassing that guy who survived the school shooting, and I just thought this woman's sick.
So horrible.
Only a person who's really lost their, tether with. Not that excuses her, but I genuinely think she's not well. What's going on with her? Oh God, let's see what the cards have to say, and then we'll see what the bard has to say. Ooh. Fascinating. All right, who's ready to go?
I can, if you like.
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. It starts with the Three of Swords piercing the heart, but is it her heart? Is it our hearts, or is it the voters' hearts? Maybe all three. Nah. So you'd have to say she's not the happiest woman in the world. She's just, we forget with Pentacles, we see Pentacles and think money. Yes, she's after the money, but it's the fame. If you see the radiating light, she just can't stay out of the limelight, so she'll say anything to get that news grab. At the moment, the taxpayers are funding her having the Nine of Cups good life. But then there's a split in this spread. Now, this can be nostalgia for what was, but in this case, I think it represents younger voters, because younger people just aren't motivated and moved by these hysterical carryings on. They're just not. I think there will be, she's going to do a bridge too far, which you'd think she'd already done 87 times, but it's like an extra thing that is going to make her look really, really bad, which will prompt the end of her political career. But we haven't seen it yet. Yeah. And this is a 5, so it could be still 5 months away, or she could see out her term. But to me, it looks like the term's going to be cut short. She'll do a lot of damage, but there's going to be one thing, and young people, probably young people in Georgia, are going to go, no. That'd be a no. So you push and push and push. Something's got to give at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can well imagine. Lady G, what do you have? And we have 1,700 with us now. Thank you.
Wow. Well, her emotions are overrunning. Her cup of abominations is just, she thinks that being put out this crazy stuff makes her strong, makes her appear to be just somebody but what we have is she's just argumentative. And so those are the people she plays to.
Yeah.
The challenge with that is a victory. And what it's going to wind up being is nightmare scenario for her. So, she plays to the ones in the angst crowd, but it's not going to go well for her. And I just wanted to say real quick, Karen was saying, I sound ill today. No, I just had a thyroidectomy.
In which case she's sounding magnificent. Put it into
so no, I'm not ill at all. I just am not speaking well today yet.
I think fabulous, considering I don't know what they put in, you know, they don't make people like Lady G because that is remarkable. And your surgery was only a few days ago, and I really appreciate that you're here and contributing. So much appreciated. Lots of stuff going on in the comments. There's been stuff on weather. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough time for weather. I did address weather in Lindy G's show yesterday, but long and short of it, because of Neptune is with Jupiter right now, which is causing a lot of water in the sign of Pisces, which is a water sign, deals with the sea, giant blob on its way. Saturn is in sidereal Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign, fixed air, also deals with aviation. So we're having things to do with sustained winds, tornadoes, all of that kind of stuff, even air turbulence and all this kind of thing. So it's going to be choppy for a little while, folks. So I've got my cards here. We'll do that, and then we'll see what the bard says, and that will probably bring us to a close. So Marjorie Taylor Green, here she is. Now, isn't this ironic? She's got the Two of Cups here, which is the card of marriage, but we all know she's just had a DIOVROCE, you know, whatever Tammy Wynette said. But really, it's ironic. Exactly. This is her marriage, though, with the base. This is what it's about. Yeah, this is her marriage to the base. And she's prepared to entertain any kind of histrionics or BS to keep them on side. Yeah, like going to all these prisoners and all this kind of stuff. She is wedded to the base. It's not even her Congress or whatever. This is her relationship with those that she's talking to. When we look in the second position here, major arcana, we've got the strength card, but it's come in the obstacle position. So we know the strength is about virtue and all of this kind of stuff. None of which she has, of course. It has to be the opposite. So this can actually be about bestial motives. Yeah. Having a bestial urges within and struggling to actually control them. Wouldn't that really kind of describe her? Yeah. Exactly. These bestial impulses she has in regards to her marriage to the base.
She's a really primitive mindset.
Yeah. It's coming from this very deep and strange place. When we look here in the middle card can be seen as the anchoring of a 5-card spread, as it were, or in the middle of any card. Looky here, delusion card comes back. But for her case, this isn't like, say, like with the Duc L'Orange, who's trying to figure out what on earth he's going to do with this deluge and trying to figure it all out. This is her, I think, being genuinely mentally, psychologically, and spiritually compromised.
Yeah.
I really think she's not well. It doesn't let her off the hook. No. She's not well. Yeah, she's not well. Then ironically, we've got the King of Swords. And the King of Swords is normally about rational thought and stuff like that. But
next to the Seven of Cups.
I know, there's an irony here. You don't normally see these two cards together. And this is what I think it is.
There's a reason for that.
There's a reason. What I think it is that leaky douchebag blowhard is using almost completely discombobulated thought to try and mask it as legal legitimacy. Yeah, wouldn't you agree? Yes. Discombobulated thought dressed up as legal legitimacy. She's coming up with these bad words. Oh, bless her, his little grumbly, his little voice. So she's dressing up cray as legitimate.
Yes.
Put it that way. Yes. Here she is, though. She will be embattled. I don't think she's going to have it all her own way. This thing with Duc L'Orange, where she's saying, she's not saying bring your guns, but effectively she's saying bring your guns. Yeah, what's she going to do? Storm the Bastille and bust the guy out of jail? I mean, come on. She might try. But this is about being embattled. But I wanted to clarify. Here we've got the 3 of Pentacles. So again, this is not only, it's just money. Yeah. How can I keep the grift going? But also who she can collaborate with. So I think she's really kind of doubling down on her cray and trying to legitimize it. But we all know it's fake. Anything to add to that, ladies, before we ask the bard?
Well, in the comments section, she's described as MTG, which I think is very clever.
Yeah.
MTG. Yeah, but you'd have to think, even if you were a deluded, aggressive Republican, you don't want the out-and-out nutcase on your team day and night. It's not a good look, even for the Jim Jordans and the Matt Gates. You know what I mean? Like, because she has no control, and that comes across. It's just
proper loose cannon, not attached to anything. So whose turn is it to call on the bard now?
Lady
Lena,
G.
I think that was Lady G. All right, I'm going to close my eyes, and this is what the bard thinks, folks. For any of you that's new here, thank you so much as well. Every week, pretty much, I ask the bard, when it comes to undesirable characters, to know what his thoughts are. Okay, so Lady G, you just tell me where to stop, and we'll see his thoughts on MTG.
Stop.
This is really interesting. Really simple here. And I'll read you, oh my God, I'll read you the other page. The first page that comes to my mind is that she's a bed swerver. That's what it says. You see?
I don't know what it means, but I'm sure it's not good.
What it means is, it means an unfaithful woman.
Oh, of course.
The bard is saying she's had an affair.
Oh,
isn't that interesting?
Yes.
Bed swerver. Yeah.
A bed swerver.
And that's from A Winter's Tale. But look what's on the other page. Are you ready? Now, this is not my word, folks. It's the bard. This is what the bard thinks of Marjorie Taylor Green. Leaky douchebag, blowhard. He says, dissembling harlot, thou art false in all.
No.
I kid you not.
Described her better myself.
There it is.
I'll read it again, please, Hogarth. Read it again.
You love me to read.
That's what she does. She dissembles, you know.
Yeah, it says, dissembling harlot, thou art false in all. And that's from A Comedy of Errors. Wow.
And
there we are. Always leave the last word to the bard, folks. The
last word to Shakespeare.
Flash. My God, he was devastating tonight. I would have to say he was devastating. Absolutely devastating. So if anyone was offended by that, you could see I was just reading the words off the page. Lady G, you've done so well to join us this evening. So
thank you for having me.
You are a trooper, quite literally. And of course, Lady Lena, lovely to have you here joining us here Sunday morning.
Oh, such fun.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We've had so many of you join us this evening as well. Over 1,750 or something like that have joined us tonight. So we really appreciate that. Anyone who donated, and of course, your wonderful questions and your comments. And we will see you next week, folks. Yeah,
So
we'll see you next week.
put the comments on your website in community?
Yeah,
is that where they go?
They go to the community tab. So for all of us, and this is for anyone that wants to leave a question for YouTubers, go on to their YouTube page and you go into the community section, and that's the best place to leave questions, because then they can just basically print them all out and put them there. So there were a few questions, but really we actually covered quite a few what people's questions were anyway. So we will see you next week, folks. Thank you so much for joining us, and until the next time. But the bard, oof, ouch.
Ooh, lacerating. That
was just well. Anyway, see you soon, folks. See you soon. Bye-bye for now.